On a warm Wednesday evening, a Boeing B-17 Flying Fortress is being prepared for flight. Crews carefully inspect the plane as a small group of passengers are briefed about the flight. Pilots complete the pre-flight procedures. The passengers board the plane, then take their seats. The engines come to life as the pilots complete the final flight checks of the plane. After taxiing to the runway, it accelerates and ascends. All aboard the plane are sharing in a part of history. A history that is dutifully being kept alive by the efforts of the Yankee Air Museum. Throughout its 28 years of history, the museum has showcased a unique collection of planes and World War II relics. Not only can visitors get up close and personal with some of these planes, they can even have an opportunity to step inside that plane for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to fly in the Yankee Lady, the Yankee Warrior, or the Yankee Doodle Dandy. Yankee Air Museum is located at Willow Run Airport in Belleville, Michigan, 35 miles west of Detroit. This airport has a rich history, making it a fitting location for the Yankee Air Museum. During World War II, Willow Run was a state-of-the-art manufacturing facility for the B-24 bomber.
World War II started, and President Roosevelt made a speech that the U.S. should produce 50,000 airplanes per year. Ford was given the B-24 bomber. And by March of 1941, they were breaking ground here at Willow Run to build this factory. Willow Run was producing 440 bombers a month, which was one every hour that they worked at the plant. And they had the capability of going to about 675 bombers per month, but the war was basically won and they shut the plant down. World
War II ended, as did the production of the B-24, and Willow Run became the primary airport for southeast Michigan until 1967. 14 years later, in 1981, a group of men and women decided to start a museum commemorating Willow Run's efforts on the home front for the U.S. Armed Forces during World War II. The group started their collection with the C-47.
The C-47, our troop transport, belonged to the University of Michigan. We got that one in about 1983. We had to modify the interior, but we didn't have to completely restore it.
By 1985, they had taken it to Oshkosh, won an award as the best restored transport category airplane. About 1986, they found a B-17 and elected to get that airplane and restore it.
It was sitting in the desert down in Arizona. We bought it, and my two partners and I, we ferried it back here, and it was in pretty tough shape when we first got it, but we restored it back to original condition. It's probably 98% original from World War II days.
They took every piece of wire, hydraulic tubing, gas tank, engine, propellers, gauge out of it, and basically took it back to the base aluminum with nothing in it and rebuilt it from scratch up. And when they took it to the air show in '96, it won the Best Bomber Award also. About 1989, they got a B-25.
The B-25 we bought from a gentleman over in Detroit City Airport.
It took about 6 years to restore. They took it apart about 1990, and by '96 it was flying again.
For over 20 years, the museum remained in an authentic World War II hangar located on the north side of the airport. The hangar held a collection of archives, planes, and equipment. But in October of 2004, a fire destroyed the hangar.
Everything that was housed in the hangar, which was all of the archival materials, all of the artifacts, were all lost completely. There was virtually no collection that were saved from the fire.
Everything was gone except our 4 flyable aircraft. We did lose 8 aircraft in the fire, and of course all of our entire museum collection. So the first thing that we had to figure out was, are we finished or are we going to go forward?
The fire came along and forced us into a very rapid reevaluation of our process to look at where we had to be and where we were going to go.
After the fire, many were unsure about what would become of the history that Yankee Air Museum tried so hard to preserve. With the help of Wayne County Airport Authority, Yankee Air Museum was allowed to relocate to the west side of the airport. Many volunteers began giving more of their time to help the museum from closing its doors for good. Many of these volunteers help orchestrate events for the museum. The Yankee Air Museum continues to hold events that invite the local community to participate. One event that starts the summer season for the museum is the polishing party. The polishing party is held in mid-April when the community is invited to the museum to polish and prepare the planes for the summer flights. This event is a great opportunity for children to learn about the museum.
For the polishing party, we have to coordinate with the airport as well as get the word out to the public that we are here and we are a viable museum and we are here to celebrate those aircraft. We usually do a luncheon with the polishing party, and it's getting the volunteers together to help with the luncheon and bake sale so that we can make it a family-friendly event.
Another popular event held at the museum is the Memorial Day celebration. The Memorial Day celebration is a chance for the community to say thank you to the men and women of the armed services from the past to the present.
I'd have to say my favorite event is Memorial Day. We don't take enough time to really appreciate what the veterans have done for us and what that means for our freedom. And I think a lot of us take our freedoms for granted. And it's nice to actually take the time to sit down and say thank you.
One of the most exciting events held at Yankee Air Museum is Thunder Over Michigan. Thunder Over Michigan is the annual air show that is organized in association with Willow Run Airport. Since its beginning in 1999, Thunder Over Michigan has dazzled many with a variety of aerial demonstrations and battle reenactments. Like the polishing party, Thunder Over Michigan is a great opportunity for children to learn about aviation.
In the last 3 to 4 years, we have seen a significant increase in the number of younger people that are coming and taking part in the air show, coming as spectators and joining the museum. We need to have the interest of the younger generations in this museum, in this organization, for this organization to continue on. If there isn't any interest from the younger generations, when the older generations pass on, so will too the organization. But the air show is something very dynamic, it's very exciting, and it does bring a younger crowd. And of that younger crowd, we do see people starting to join, take interest, and volunteer. Because again, they are the future of the museum.
2007 marked the first visit of the U.S. Navy's Flight Squadron, the Blue Angels. The Angels returned to the Yankee Air Museum in 2009. Major Nate Miller, solo pilot number 5 from Lapeer, Michigan, shared his feelings about coming back to the Yankee Air Museum.
Tell you what, the history with the Yankee Air Museum, this airfield itself, they produce B-24s 1 an hour. Knowing how much history is here at Willow Run Airport really is something that we take dear to our hearts, and that's what we do. So to come back here and support the Yankee Air Museum, who tries to keep that in the forefront of our minds to not forget those who have served before us, really is special to come to these type of venues that have such a museum that try to dedicate themselves to our history. Of course, it's a little bit sweet for me because I'm from here, right in Michigan, in Lapeer. So that, of course, is personally something I enjoy doing. But from the big picture perspective, what the Blue Angels do and what this space is about, it sure is pretty special to be back.
Events like Thunder Over Michigan and the Polishing Party also promote the Yankee Air Museum and help it gain much-needed revenue to maintain the museum as well as prepare it for the future.
It certainly took on a whole new perspective in helping the museum get back on its feet. After 2004, it became critical that it made money. And that's one of the things it's done since 2004, has made money for the museum. But what it did too, and what it continues to do, is bring more members. It brings more people to the actual show as it grows and grows, and it becomes a bigger Detroit area event. The event brings more people to us, and of course at that point, more interest level to the museum itself. It comes back in many ways to us, not just financially.
Not only are the events held at Yankee Air Museum fun and exciting, they also help educate the community. A growing part of the Yankee Air Museum is its education department. The education department is in charge of scheduling activities with youth groups and schools. Through these activities, children can learn about the history of their local community and possibly become involved with it. The education department will be located in the schoolhouse on the north side of the airport.
The schoolhouse was built in 1938 by Henry Ford, and we restored that, received a $50,000 grant, so we're going to convert the one-room historic schoolhouse into a state-of-the-art classroom, and so that is where everything will be based out of.
In addition, the education department plans on having family nights featuring movies, board games, activities, and guest speakers. Also, a summer camp is in the planning stages.
Our summer camp next summer is going to be for children 3rd grade to 12th grade. The first camp is going to focus on the home front. The other summer camp is going to be more science-based and math-based. And then the final camp is going to be a combination of both of those things.
Through a variety of after-school programs and summer camps, Yankee Air Museum's Education Department is helping to keep history alive. After the fire in 2004, many of the volunteers at Yankee Air Museum were faced with an uncertain future. With the help of many individuals, the museum is on a path to create a new museum.
We want to build a museum here at Willow Run that tells the story of the civilian workforce, the home front in World War II.
Well, we want to build our campus, for sure, new campus. First thing that we need is a hangar, and so the fundraising is ongoing for a new hangar. We aren't going to give up because of a fire.
With the construction of a new facility, the museum staff must focus on collecting archival material. Since the fire, Yankee Air Museum has worked hard to recollect their losses.
We have been averaging on about between 275 and about 350 donations per year. Right now, I think at last count we were looking at somewhere upwards to about 8,000, between 8,000 and 10,000 pieces that have been donated since the fire in 2004. About 55% of those have been completely cataloged and are stored. The other ones are being worked on.
The Yankee Air Museum would not be what it is today without the men and women who donate their time. Membership is a key part and a great way to help the Yankee rebuild. There are many different types of memberships that people can apply for.
We have several different types of members, ranging from our junior membership, which is for kids that started at 10 years old. We have a student membership for specifically aimed at high school and college age kids. And then we have 5 different levels of membership for adults.
Most members of the Yankee Air Museum also volunteer. These volunteers help with simple tasks around the hangar, ranging from mechanics to pilots or restoration crews. Volunteers work hard on restoring a variety of aircraft, including the World War I Spad and the AT-11. Volunteers can also help out with the events, such as the polishing party or Thunder over Michigan. The members and volunteers of the Yankee Air Museum are helping to make the future possible. As the B-17 approaches Willow Run, it begins its descent toward the runway. The landing is at a perfect setting, an airport rich with World War II history, with hangars that hold stories of the construction of B-24s. As the plane slows toward the end of the runway, the passengers' last thought is that the Yankee Air Museum was once on the brink of closing. But with the help of the Speakers Bureau, and by holding events that taught the community about aviation and armed forces history, many of its members and volunteers helped keep it from such a fate. The plane slowly makes its way back towards the hangar, and the crew prepares to help the passengers disembark. The crew, just a few of the countless number of volunteers and members that have helped the museum throughout the years. Thanks to the help of the crew and other volunteers and visitors, such as these passengers, the museum has shown that it is still the Yankee Air Museum. Interested in becoming a member or volunteer? Visit Yankee Air Museum online at www.yankeeairmuseum.org.